thanks for tuning in. This is Optibotimus coming to you with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Combiner Wars Deluxe Class Prowl. Another Autobot repainted from an existing Stunticon figure. Prowl actually might be one of the better looking and really does come across nicely. For the package, you can see the clamshell that kind of wraps around and protects the actual comic in the back. It kind of looks like there's two comic books back there, or maybe it's just the printing on the back. That's kind of weird how that is, but you can see on the side you got Optimus Maximus. Prowl here is number 4 of 5. 3 is actually Battle Core Optimus, but you can see the rest of the Autobots, as well as him showcasing that he can become an arm or a leg. And then obviously you have his robot and his vehicle mode. And then it says, the Autobot military strategist is a critical part of Optimus Maximus. If its strategic skill can successfully combine with the courage of Optimus Prime, it would make Optimus Maximus almost unstoppable in battle. Like I said, that's actually one of the better looking of these repaints. I'm pretty impressed with it. But for the packaging, it is pretty standard, and we have seen it before with the rest of the Combiner War figures. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Prowl opened up and out of its packaging. And like I said, while he is a repaint of the Stunticon Dead End, he's more specifically a repaint of the much more retooled version of Dead End, that being the Protective Bot Streetwise. As you can see, in terms of that, he's got the molded light bar here at the top. You got the change here with the front section. So it is still another repaint, but this actually, I mean, it does look pretty nice. You can see you got, like I said, the light bar. You got the nice metallic blue paint here for the windows. On the side here, it says Highway Patrol Police. I really still am annoyed that they can't get this the same color. I mean, that looks weird, just having a black stripe come up there. You got a nice Autobot logo there. You got the silver for, I guess, his headlights. Now, a lot of people really are impressed with this, and for a comparison, here's my extremely yellowed version of the Classics Prowl. Now, this was, I remember getting this way back when, and this was one of those early released figures that I somehow managed to get my hands on from a seller in China. So I don't know if that has something to do with it, but I never realized how bad that got. But you can see that there is a difference here in terms of the way that they're designed. I mean, obviously this is a very sports car looking, and this is very sporty looking as well, but I think police car wise, I think that he looks a little bit better, honestly. It's just a little bit more subtle of a police car, I think, but yeah, it's a pretty good representation nonetheless. You can see that vehicle wise it's still about the same size. It's a little bit smaller width wise, I guess, but there's your comparison for a classic vehicle. But I mean, it is a pretty nice looking mold itself. It's one that I really like just in general, so I think it works. For his weapons, you can see that he's got just this white triple barreled shotgun handgun thing. I guess if you wanted to, you can stick it right there, which is going to look weird. He also does come with his foot or hand, which again you can put there if you really wanted to. I don't know why you would want to. You got some little hole things here on the side. You can kind of do that up if you want, and all sorts of weird combinations and things like that. But it's a good looking mold. Like it's one that I'm very pleased with. You can see he rolls fairly nicely. All these molds I really do like. It's just a matter of repurposing them into a character that really didn't share the mold in any other kind of continuity. Like for example, if you had the Seekers, I mean, they all are basically the same. They're just repaints. So that's a reuse of the mold that I think is fairly good. But reusing Streetwise here to make Prowl, it never happened before. So to me, I think it's kind of weird. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do like the mold. It's just strange to me, and I don't know. It comes down to, is this guy good enough to replace this guy in a classic shelf? And that's essentially how I'm really looking at these. Now, if you watch my previous video, Sunstreaker, I really don't think is good enough to replace that classic one. Mirage, though, I think was. And with Prowl here, it's kind of a toss-up. I don't think he looks bad. I think he could fit, but there are some noticeable differences that really don't say Prowl to me. Now, as I said in my previous videos, I'm going to go ahead and skip the transformation. It is the exact same that we've seen now 2 other times with Dead and Streetwise. So if you do need help with that, I will put links down in my video description so that you can get any kind of instructions that you may need to help you transform this. I'm also not going to show you the limb configuration in this video. I'm going to save that for my review of Omega Prime, and I'll show you both leg and arm. But all that being said, that's about it for his vehicle mode. So now we're going to go from Prowl looking like this to looking like this. And now we get to the point where this looks a whole lot better as Prowl. One thing that I'll say though that I really feel is missing in this are his wings. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing that I would say is against the guy in terms of a Prowl character. Now, bringing in the classic one and getting him to stand, you can see obviously the classic one is still a little bit taller, but these wings are just so very kind of definitive of the Prowl character. And being that, I mean, he's not the only one to use this mold, specifically bringing up his brother Blue Streak. I mean, it's hard for me to look at this as him because they're basically twins. So on a classic shelf, this guy really doesn't look like Blue Streak. So it's hard for me to really kind of say that he's worth replacing this guy on my shelf because he doesn't fit with that kind of other aesthetic. And that bothers me. It's just a weird thing. It's probably just me, but as much as I do like the figure, it just doesn't fit for me. Now you can actually take this, and this is what I actually like doing. I like doing this. You can angle this up, and that kind of gives them like a back section that looks a little bit more like something's hanging up on them. It's a little bit better. I mean, they're not wings or anything, but it kind of gives them something at least. I know that's probably going to sound really weird to a lot of people. I don't know. If you agree with me, let me know. It's just maybe if they made a Blue Streak figure, it would fit a little bit more. It's just, I know that it's sounding very nitpick-ish, but that's just the way that I guess I am. I do really like how they actually took his chest here, though, and kind of made it look at least like the front section of his car mode. I think that looks really cool. I dig that. The head sculpt on here is absolutely gorgeous, though. Very spot on and absolutely looks like Prowl. I mean, the colors obviously very reminiscent. You can see that you get some more of this blue color like he had on the windshield coming out. Got the nice Autobot logo right there on his chest. He's got really nice blue painted eyes. He doesn't have light piping or anything like that, but I'm glad that they actually painted his eyes. You can get his weapon in here, holding it just like so. I mean, it's so incredibly weird because I really do like the way he looks. Like I said, it's hard for me to replace the other one just because the other one has so many other characters that match that mold with them. And like I said, you got Blue Streak, obviously Smokescreen's in there as well. So that's, I hate to dwell on it, but that's the only negative really that I can think about this guy. For his articulation, you can see that the head is on a ball joint, so you get a nice range of motion with it. The shoulders are also on ball joints. These kind of, if you have this up, these kind of do get in the way a little bit more, but you can kind of get around it. He does rotate at the upper part of his bicep. He bends at one joint here at the elbow. The wrists, I guess you could say, are articulated. They move in and out just as part of the transformation. He does rotate here at the waist. Hips move forward and back on ball joints. They rotate at the upper part of the thigh. Bends here at the knee, and then again, he really doesn't have feet. He just kind of has stubs, so you don't really get any ankle articulation or anything like that. I did forget to bring this in the beginning portion, but he does come with this comic book. Opening it up, you can see that it says that he's part of the Transformers Combiner Wars number 13. Now, but again, I don't know what actual IDW comic this is based off of. You come around here to the back, it does have his extended bio and brief history, as well as there's a group affiliation name, things like that. One thing that in flipping through I am really excited about, it actually shows Skylinks right here, which I'm really very excited about that Skylinks figure. I'm so excited. I mean, honestly, again, that's one that he's not a combiner, so I don't really care about using him as a combiner. I'm just very excited about getting a updated generation Skylinks figure. That's gonna look terrific. But I mean, all in all, Prowl here is a really good figure. I think that the mold is very solid. I don't feel any sort of mold degradation in any of these figures, which is really very nice considering a lot of them have been used, you know, 2 or 3 times already. I just, as much as I love the figure, like I said, there's just that nagging little thing that he doesn't look like Prowl does, and by extension doesn't look like his brother or Smokescreen or anything like that. So it's hard for me to replace this guy with this one because I do have Smokescreen and I do have Blue Streak. So when I look at the shelf, it's like, well, Blue Streak and Prowl are supposed to be twin brothers. They're supposed to be identical. Why does Blue Streak not look like his brother? So I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's a thing with me. You do have his gun thing here that you can have him hold as well. But It's a weird thing. I know I'm not knocking anything for it, but for me, I really can't replace that original classics Prowl in my shelf with this guy. He's probably the second best of these new deluxe figures, and I can see some people replacing him. Just for me, it doesn't replace. So I hope through all that rambling, it helps you guys out some. Now, if you are interested in picking them up, they are slowly starting to trickle out to various retail locations. Or as always, there's Big Bad Toy Store. So all you have to do is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS where you can pick this guy up as well as the rest of the wave and add them to your collection today. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus, and until next time, I'll talk to you later.
Right.